Welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta. The grand inauguration of Shri Janma temple in Ayodhya is set for January 22. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be the special invitee to inaugurate the temple at 12:30 p.m. It is said to be a seminal day in Indian history. One of the holiest of all sites for Hindus, finally witnessing the inauguration of a Ram temple that has been awaited for nearly 500 years. Many reckon it is a landmark day for Indian civilization, given what it has been through, and they wouldn't be wrong. But every time you think we can finally move on, where we wouldn't really have to justify the temple anymore or its significance for 80 crore Hindus and more, comes an ugly reminder of the blatant politics on this subject. Some of it has been shameful over the years, the obfuscation of facts and history, the disregard for religious sentiments, the hurdles posed legally and otherwise. But even today, instead of rejoicing or allowing those who want to rejoice, some attack the temple and Lord Ram himself. Some want credit where none is due. Parties like the Congress, the Shiv Sena, UBT, the DMK have questioned the timing of the inauguration ceremony, which comes just 2 months ahead of the next Lok Sabha elections, and even the presence of the Prime Minister at the inauguration function. Now let me tell you something interesting. Prime Minister Narendra Modi had visited Ayodhya in 1991 when he was a mere worker of the BJP and the convener of the Tiranga Yatra campaign led by Murli Manohar Joshi to scrap Article 370 that granted special status to Jammu and Kashmir. He vowed to return to the city of Ayodhya only when Ram Temple was to be built. 29 years later, in 2020, he did return to Ayodhya during the Shilanyas ceremony of the Ram Temple. For the BJP, building a Ram temple has always been an article of faith, and for many leaders like L.K. Advani, Murli Manohar Joshi, Narendra Modi, their politics has very much been centered around this subject. There is no justification or even the need to try to take this away from them. And there is hardly any grouse parties like the Congress can have over being left out, given that they've never truly, fully supported a Ram temple in Ayodhya, even after the court judgment paved the way for it. Can the opposition really begrudge the Prime Minister's presence at the Ram temple inauguration, as some seem to be doing? We'll take that question to our guests in just a bit. But take a look at how the opposition has always, at every turn, legally, morally, politically, opposed a Ram temple in Ayodhya. Ramcharitramanas and Ramayan are not enough to prove Ram's existence. This is what the UPA government had told the Supreme Court in 2007, and of course their statement on the Ram Setu is also much publicized. Valmiki said that Ram was a drunkard, no historical proof for existence of Lord Ram. This is of course one of the famous words of Congress ally DMK leader Karunanidhi from 2027. Some people think Ram temple construction will help COVID's mitigation, said by none other than Sharad Pawar in 2020. Ram temple is being built on land of hatred. Now this statement was made despite the Supreme Court judgment by RJD leader Jagdanand Singh in 2023, another India bloc ally. This is what the commentary on Ram temple or the movement on Ram temple used to be, and these are just some of the more recent statements. Now the opposition, especially the Congress, has FOMO, fear of missing out. Their leaders want to be involved in the Ram temple inauguration. Look at the statements that have been made after it came to light that the Prime Minister has accepted the invitation to be the special invitee. Is God limited to just one party? Says Salman Khurshid of the Congress party, same leader who has compared Hindutva to Boko Haram and ISIS in the past. BJP is acting as if Ram temple belongs to them alone, says Kamal Nath, as if the Congress participated in any manner in ensuring a Ram temple can become a reality. In fact, the Congress always faces the charge that they actively dissuaded the construction of a Ram temple. BJP is trying to replace history with mythology because the DMK's TKS Elangovan once again states there is no proof of Ram being born. At least you can say that the DMK is honest and consistent with what their line is. But their ally, the Congress, doesn't really say anything on this, on their very public view on Ram and Ram temple. Finally, this is preparation of elections, says Sanjay Raut of the Uddhav Thackeray faction of the split Shiv Sena. Of course, Shiv Sena has always made it a mission to have a Ram temple in Ayodhya. They never shied away from talking about it openly, publicly in the past. Today, they find it just a matter of mere elections. The question we're raising though is this: Yes, the Prime Minister is going to be there. He was there during the Shilanyas as well. Yes, he wears his religiosity on his sleeve. It is not unique to India. It happens with world leaders, elected leaders in all major democracies around the world. He has changed the template of how the Prime Minister is expected to behave, especially when it comes to Hindu sentiments. Can the opposition truly have the right to begrudge his presence at the Ram Temple inauguration? We'll take that forward with our guests.
ये तो ऐसी ही राम मंदिर की बात कर रहे हैं जैसे ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी का मंदिर हो.
Before elections, they want to show that they have built a Ram temple, but that is a forgotten thing. People had forgotten that.
22 जनवरी 2024 श्री राम जन्मभूमि अयोध्या. हर राम भक्त जो राम भक्त के रूप में आए उसका स्वागत करें.
भगवान राम का ये प्राण प्रतिष्ठा एक आस्था है, आस्था विश्वास की है, एक श्रद्धा की है, जिसमें प्रधानमंत्री जी को बुलाया गया है.
हेलो मोटो.
Let's go across to our guests joining us. Neeti Jain of the BJP, Krishna Hegde of the Shiv Sena, of the Shinde faction, C.S. Jha from the Shiv Sena UBT is joining us. George Kurian, his political analyst, leans towards the Congress party. George Kurian, let me begin with you. Yes, Kamal Nath is right. This is not the BJP's temple, certainly not. But the very public that wanted this temple for so long, the Congress party is guilty of rubbishing their desire of having that Ram temple for decades. With what right is the Congress party complaining about the PM being at this ceremony? Are they wanting to be at the ceremony too? Do they think they also should be invited? What is the problem here?
Well, Shivani, a very good evening to you, to your audience and to my co-panelists on the show. Let me begin by saying, it's a welcome move. We all welcome this consecration of the Ram temple, Ram Mandir at the Ayodhya, and the invitation that has gone to Prime Minister Modi. There is nothing wrong in it, absolutely nothing wrong. But having said that, trying to corner the Congress party on the lines of Ram Mandir is uncalled for. I also
why?
Want to at this point in time also.
No, why is it uncalled for? It's recorded history. The Congress party has never been in support of the Ram temple.
See, Shivani, we all understand it's about the faith, beliefs and emotions of the people of India that's connected to the Ram Mandir and the Ram temple at the Ayodhya. So it's a welcome move that the temple is going to be open for the public for their prayers. And I'm sure that the Congress leaders and the India Alliance leaders also should keep in mind before making any statement which is giving ammunition to the Bharatiya Janata Party.
No, I'm not talking about ammunition to the Bharatiya Janata Party. I'm not concerned with that at all. I'm not concerned with what gives ammunition to the BJP. I am saying, anybody who's 30, 40 years old in India is aware of who wanted a Ram temple and who actively worked against it, or who shied away from actually recognizing the need of a Ram temple in Ayodhya. You can't fool the public on this. You never were for it. So I am not quite understanding the statements coming in, particularly from the Congress party today, where Salman Khurshid says that God doesn't belong to one party, this temple doesn't belong to one party. That may be correct, but that one party whose Prime Minister is in power today is the only party, maybe barring the Shiv Sena, erstwhile Shiv Sena, that consistently fought for this Ram temple. The Congress deserves no credit.
Shivani, it goes without saying that the Bharatiya Janata Party, be it the Bajrang Dal, the Vishnu Hindu Parishad or the Shiv Sena at that point in time were all for the Ram Mandir. So it goes without saying, the public are aware of it. So it doesn't need to be elaborated at this point in time. But having said that, the mandir, it's a welcome move, as I said earlier. And the Prime Minister, it's nothing. It's going to be an election gimmick, and the Prime Minister should focus on issues with.
Why is this an election gimmick? I'll come to that separately. You're mixing a lot of arguments. My fundamental question to you was, why is the Congress party so upset that the Prime Minister is going to be at this inauguration? First of all, let me tell you, it is not unique to India. A lot of people have suggested in the past, Niti Jain, that a Prime Minister should not take part in such ceremonies. Frankly, that's a burden that has been put on the Indian democracy, while many Western democracies and their elected leaders do not carry that burden of evoking their God publicly and even in either seats of power or outside in religious places. So that is history. I don't think anybody buys that in India anymore. But if that doesn't work, today they're like, oh, this belongs to every party. Oh, this is the public's temple. Sure. But what did you do for this temple? Should they not be reminded of that?
I lost you in between for a bit, but from what I have understood, I think it is not just the places of religious sentiments that the Prime Minister's presence is opposed. It was also the Parliament. They had the problem with why is the PM inaugurating the Parliament. So the problem is that this entire opposition, they have been opposing this entire matter, and if not opposing directly, they have not been supporting the issue of Ram Mandir. The Prime Minister is the head of the state. This is a matter of national pride, and the opposition would have a problem with some element of it. I am not surprised that they're going to bring in election issue. They are going to bring in why the PM is being there. The point being that the BJP and the other organizations, we have stood for this Ram Mandir for a very long time, and if the PM is being invited, sir, you would have an even more problem that 5 lakh villages, every household in 5 lakh villages is going to be sent an invitation. They are going to be invited for this mandir because for a very long time people have struggled. People have lost their lives for this cause, for this matter of our faith and integrity. And this is what you have a problem with, not now. Because right now, no matter what question you're being asked, it is very difficult for you to defend everything that you've done in the past. Not only the Ram Mandir, you questioned the existence of Lord Ram himself.
Yes, so and George Kurian is being kind enough, and I appreciate that, to welcome the consecration of the... Once again, he's being... No, let's just acknowledge that he's not the Congress party, but he's of course accepting that this is a good thing, that this consecration is going to happen. The Ram temple's doors are going to be open for the general public in months to come. But I don't think that kind of unequivocal welcoming, rejoicing has ever happened from the Congress party. So I'm not understanding why are they begrudging the fact that the PM is going for it. They've never wanted to do anything with the Ram temple.
Well, Shivani, let us also understand at this point in time that the RSS is the one which is giving the directions of when the inauguration is going to take place and happen.
Come on, George Kurian, I expect a better... No, George Kurian, I expect a better response on matters like this. This is exactly my point. Blame the elections, blame the BJP, blame the RSS. None of that answers my question. Why are Congress leaders acting like they played a part in the reality, in a Ram temple becoming a reality? They did not. You should at least they should at least have the graciousness to say, okay, this is a moment for others to rejoice. We never really stood for it, or at least openly we couldn't do it because of our politics. Now let others have their moment. That's called grace. That's all the point that I'm making. But let Neeti finish her point, then I'll go across to our Shiv Sena guests as well.
So, like I was saying, the Congress party in its entire history has opposed the entire matter. And now if they come out and say this is about the elections, let me again say that elections go on in our country every 2 months. When we say one nation, one election kar lo, usme bhi problem hoti hai. Election se pehle kaam kar lo, usme bhi problem hoti hai. What do you want us to do? Not work just because there is an election every 2 months in this country? Ram Mandir has been an issue, and you again would have a problem that the speed with which this Ram Mandir construction has taken place, you did not expect it to happen right now. You did not expect the government to work the way it has to make this dream into a reality.
Okay.
And to have a problem with anybody attending it, the PM attending it, he's head of the state, and this is a matter of national pride no matter what. You might find it difficult to accept it, But for us, I think it's the nazar ka kala tika that opposition always comes up with, and that remains that.
No, let me also go across to CS Jha. CS Jha, Neeti Jain does have a point in reminding the fact that there are, of course, elections taking place every 6 months, if not every 2 months in India. That's a separate issue. But even the Shiv Sena UBT believes today that this is an election matter. Do you really believe, of all of the decades of work that even Shiv Seniks have done in asking for a Ram temple, that this is just a matter of elections?
See, Shiv Seniks have done more than what BJP has done today in building this Ram temple. And the sole credit should not go to BJP, and they should
Fair
not
enough.
take the sole credit. And in any event, the first preference should have been given to the Kar Sevaks who have done the wholesome job. And today we are seeing the temple built there. And what has happened, the time of inauguration, which is coming now, January 22nd, it is before polls, and it is a clear gimmick that it is for the polls that is Mr.
How do you
PM
say
Modi
that? Can you expand on
Yes.
that? How do you find this a gimmick before polls?
Yes, it is a gimmick because the head of the state, right now you could have called the President of India to inaugurate this mandir. Why only PM Modi has been called?
But that's the point. This coulda, shoulda,
Yes.
woulda is not
Yes,
an
the
argument. If
president
somebody
has
else
not
is in
been
power,
called.
they would do it
The
differently.
president
That's
has
not an
not been
argument.
called.
What is your
The
fundamental
speaker of
grounds?
the speaker of the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha has not been called, and Mr. Modi has been called. So it is
Why
very
not? He is
clear.
the Prime Minister.
Ram Lalla does not belong to only BJP or Mr. PM Modi.
Yeah, the PM also doesn't
Belongs
belong
to
to only
everybody.
the
It
BJP.
belongs to
The PM is the
everybody.
PM of the
And
country.
it is
But
very
can I remind
clear.
you,
It is
interesting,
very-
Mr. Jha, interesting you say that Ram Lalla doesn't belong to the BJP. Of course it does not. And of course this temple doesn't belong to a party, no matter how much pride one may have over the others. But similar argument was made for Parliament. Now for Parliament, there was no great movement that was fought for 40 years. Why did the opposition boycott Parliament inauguration? Just for this reason that the Prime Minister was inaugurating it? Why did you not have pride in attending the Parliament inauguration?
See, what is happening today, only Mr. Modi is being showcased for everything. If you inaugurate
He is
Vande
the
Bharat,
Prime Minister
Mr.
of
Modi
this
is being
country.
showcased
He is
for
an
the
elected
cause
leader.
that he is inaugurating
You may
Vande
have a
Bharat.
problem with the Prime
He
Minister.
will go for the inauguration of a bridge. And this is the duty of a PM of a nation.
Okay, so on that
cannot
issue, let
expect- you
Neeti Jain
cannot
respond that everything is being inaugurated by the Prime Minister. I don't know whether past governments did not do it and whether there is precedent to it or not. I think obviously the BJP reminds of how previous governments have just been about 1 or 2 leaders, and that too from a family. Even former prime ministers have not been applauded enough for what they did in their tenures. But anyways, let Neeti Jain respond to this, that everything has become about the Prime Minister.
Shivani, the point is that at least everything is not being named after one particular family.
Well, things are
This
being
is
named
the
after
man
the
whom
Prime Minister now
government has
too.
been
You know,
for.
Neeti, you could have made that argument till 2 months ago, but now things are being named after the Prime Minister.
Let me finish. The point is that this is a government that has worked, and if they take credit for the work that they have done, the opposition cannot have a problem with that. You can have a problem with the Prime Minister, you can have a political problem with the Prime Minister, but the point is he is the elected leader of this country. He is representing the country, and if something important is happening in the country that he has worked for, that his government has worked for, why do you have a problem if he's...
No, but
if
Mr.
he's
Jha
making
also
that
has the
national
point
issue?
that this government cannot take sole credit for the construction of the Ram temple. Ultimately, that judgment came from the court,
No,
and
I
people have
already
fought
said,
from various
yes.
streams of life for this Ram temple.
I already said that the invitation, it's not just the Prime Minister. I said the invitation, you said the Kar Sevaks should be invited. I am saying 5 lakh villages, every household in those 5 lakh villages has an invitation to attend this event. And it is not about the BJP, it is not about anything else. The point is that it is, again, I'm repeating myself, this is a matter of national pride. This is something that our party has believed in for eons. So to say that why is the Prime Minister being invited, I honestly don't understand the context of the entire matter. As a head
Mr.
of
Jha,
the state, if people want to go invite, if the trust wants to go invite the Prime Minister, why is it a problem? Just
Mr.
because
Jha,
he is
please.
from the BJP?
Please expand on that. What is the problem here?
See, the car sevaks who were involved have not been called for. The Hindutvadi
Sir, अभी तो
sangatans
पहला
PHP,
invitation गया है.
PHP
सर
and
अभी तो
other
पहला
Hindutvadi
invitation गया
sangatans
है.
have
रुक
not been
जाइए.
called for.
रुक
And
जाइए.
you tell
हर
people
village में जाएगा
that
invitation.
Mr. Modi has already taken the credit for building Ram Mandir is nowhere. And if you see clearly
Where
this
has he
kind of
taken the credit, sir? We have
Yes,
always
yes.
said that it
This
was
shows
by
clearly the
Supreme Court
credit.
order.
This shows
It
clearly the
was
credit
by
is
the
being
Supreme
taken,
Court
and
order
during
that
the
the
election
mandir has
time,
been
and it has been
constructed.
taken credit
But
for.
the
And you
construction
want this to
time
be
they have
not
the government
politicized.
credit.
It will be politicized
You are
because Mr. Modi
politicizing
is
it,
only
sir.
the
You
person who
say
is
आपने
showcasing
हमने
all
ज्यादा
the
काम किया है, तो अब कुछ
buildings,
होता ही है कि मंदिर
all
बन
kind
जाए.
of bridges, all kind
Absolutely
of railway
happy. It is
projects
Okay.
being
something that we
inaugurated,
work for. We have
and
brought
a
it
PM
to
of such a
fruition.
stature, a
We have
constitutional
brought
post
it to
holder,
reality.
going for an inauguration of normal railway Vande Bharat inauguration. What kind
So,
of
what
what
is
kind
your
of
problem?
showcasing you are doing for
What
PM
is your
Modi?
problem if there is something
No,
that
no,
is being constructed,
problem.
if the Prime
It is the
Minister is
sole
going to
problem of
inaugurate
the
it,
nation
why
itself.
is it that the opposition have
G20
a
for
problem
last
with
1 years,
that?
you have been showcasing Modi everywhere. What is the
So,
problem?
he is our
If you
leader,
go to the airport,
we will
you will
showcase him
see the
everywhere.
picture of
What is
Modi
your
comes and
problem
you
with
cannot
that?
see the traveling time and
अरे
the
भैया
travel
आपके
plane
पास
and
कोई
anything.
मोदी जी
This
का
is
Okay,
the
can I
लेवल
come
का
in?
showcasing
नेता
you
Can I
are
come
नहीं
in?
है,
doing. You
उसमें
are
हमारी
doing an
गलती नहीं
advertisement
है.
for him.
Can I come in?
This
Mr.
is
Jha,
not a
Mr.
problem.
Jha, I take your point, but it
Somebody
seems
has
like
to
you have a
Modi.
problem
That's
with
not a
the...
problem.
No, one second. It seems like you have a problem with the Prime Minister and the government doing its best to showcase the Prime Minister. You know, I've been saying this for a very long time. You cannot hold this against the present government. And fundamentally, Niti has a point, Krishna Hegre, where if you're taking credit for what you have done, that's what politics is. That's what governments are. Governments promise, if they deliver, they will take credit for it. Isme politics kya hai? This is what good governance or good politics should be, that you deliver and take credit. Who can have a problem with that?
Shivani, I'll just open with the stanza of Sant Tulsidas. रघुकुल रीत सदा चली आए प्राण जाए पर वचन न जाए. This is exactly how our Prime Minister works. That whatever said and done, he wants to work for the common man of India. This is not digestible by these opposition allies who are against Sanatan Dharma, against Hindutva, and they call it code, leprosy, HIV, and all kinds of names. And Uddhavji is supporting them. So they said that Shiv Sena has been part of the Ram Mandir movement. Yes, we are the Shiv Sena. We are the Shiv Sena who follow the ideology of Balasaheb Thackerayji, and we were the part of the Ram Mandir movement. You are the part now of the Congress. So let the UBT not talk about it at all. Secondly, our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji is the icon of Hindutva. He has done everything possible. Like, Bhagwan Shri Ram is called Maryada Purushottam Ram. And I don't want to compare here, but Prime Minister Modi ji's slogan, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas and Sabka Prayas, shows exactly he follows the teachings of Lord Ram, where he takes all communities, all sections of people, all deprived classes and give them all the benefits which is possible in a country. But the Congress is saying that the Congress was saying, and the Congress allies are saying that why is he going? The Congress was opposing Kapil Sibal, defended the Waqf board. Salman Khurshid called the Hindu organizations and compared them to ISIS. Karunanidhi ji's party said something else negative. And all these people, and now Sanjay Raut is saying that this is an election propaganda. We don't need anything for an election propaganda. Ram Mandir is the ethos of our country. This is an issue which has been pending for thousands of years. This is the Astha of every Hindu. We have been to Ram Mandir 4 months ago. We will go again in January for the inauguration. And I would strongly say that every Hindu in India and every Hindu across Hindustan and every Hindu across the world should go to Ram Mandir. I think it is their duty to
Mr.
go
Jha,
there.
can I
This
just
is
go
a
across to
long
Mr.
pending
Jha very
issue.
quickly? You said that this is not an election gimmick, but even if, let's say, this was preceding the elections, Mr. Jha, because you believe that your section of the Shiv Sena has also worked tirelessly for the construction of a Ram temple, you can also take benefit of it. Who is to say that only BJP will benefit from this? Why do you feel so? If you feel people associate the Ram temple movement with you, you will also benefit in upcoming elections.
We
No,
have
Shivani,
never
that was
taken
the Shiv
benefit.
Sena of Balasaheb Thackeray ji.
Fair
This
enough.
is the Shiv Sena of Uddhav Thackeray ji.
No, fair enough. They are also, in some ways, they consider themselves the rightful heirs of Balasaheb Thackeray's Shiv Sena. I'm not getting into that internal matter of the Shiv Sena, but let him respond. If they feel so strongly about the Ram temple, they continue to feel so strongly, they associate with the Ram temple, people will associate it with you too, if you take pride in it.
See, we have never taken benefit of Ram Naam for the purpose of politics, which BJP has taken till date. And if you see, the purpose of building Ram temple was firstly adhered to by Balasaheb Thackeray, and thereafter it was taken over as a part and parcel by BJP. Now both were working together at that moment. And if you say the main cause of building this Ram temple was by the car sevaks, and today what is happening that you are degrading them in the eyes of the Hindu society.
That's
that
not
those
true.
car sevaks
I don't think that's
who have
true.
lost their life.
I don't
No,
think there is
this
any
I have
degradation
strong
of any of the car
No, no,
sevaks,
I
and you can
strongly
raise
object
that
to what
point
he's
to
saying.
people who actually
Shivani,
did
I just
degrade
want
the
to-
car sevaks' efforts. We are not one of those. Yes, Krishna, I agree very quickly.
I just want to put a small point across. It is the RSS, it is the BJP, it is the Vishwa Hindu Parishad, it is the Bajrang Dal, it is the Shiv Sena. It is all like-minded Hindus, and all Hindus and car sevaks across the country who even sacrifice their lives for the Ram Mandir. So anyone now pointing questions, we should point questions whether they are actually a true Hindu. This Ram Mandir is the ethos of our society, is the ethos of our culture, and the Ram Mandir is an issue which is pending for thousands of years, and the Ram Mandir is a necessity and a reality today, thanks to Honorable
I don't think
Prime
we have to
Minister
go
Narendra
back
Modi.
into justifying whether the Ram temple was needed or not. I think that debate is done now. But George Kurian, I do want to come to you. See, fundamentally the issue is this. Everything about life is political. And when it comes to a very emotional, emotive issue like the Ram temple that has been fought for 500 years, it is doubly political. You can't escape that fact. So it seems a little bit odd that opposition parties today feel, oh, the BJP will get some benefit out of it. They will derive some election benefit out of this. You know, it will happen if it was to happen. Because that's what politics is. The BJP put its, to use a term, put its money where its mouth was attacked, was demeaned for decades for fighting for the Ram temple. Of course they will get some benefit now the Ram temple is a reality.
Well, Shivani, it's not about the BJP taking the benefit out of the construction of the Ram temple here, because I don't want to get into the history of Ayodhya, because it's an order from the Supreme Court for where the Ram temple has been built. But having said that, again, the point is, the Shri Janma Bhoomi Trust has invited Prime Minister Modi yesterday or day before yesterday. Yesterday it was, I believe. So just before the election, because 7th of November is the first date of election, and we all understand it's a Hindi belt, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh to begin with. So it's important to understand that this polarization of vote bank politics is involved in this.
This is not polarization. No, I'm sorry. I object to this basic premise. One second. This is not polarization. Construction of a Ram temple is not polarization. The very premise is the problem.
The invitation.
No, it is not polarizing. Why should it be polarizing? Who is it polarizing for?
3rd of December also.
No, but who is it polarizing for? Why do you use the term polarizing when it comes to the Hindu population's beliefs? Why is it polarizing?
It's about the faiths, beliefs and emotion of people.
So how is it polarizing? Who is it polarizing for?
It's but natural for the Hindi belt, it is going to be a polarization of votes.
How is it polarizing? Can you please tell me? Who is opposing the Ram temple?
The date of inauguration before the elections is nothing but polarization of the entire thing.
So you are telling me that no election has ever been fought on faith? Are you telling me seriously Congress has not fought on faith? Whether it is Hindu faith or other faith in elections?
Congress party believes in secular ideology.
Congress has
It's
lost
carrying
a lot.
everybody along. It's about development politics. It's about inclusive politics. It's nothing to do with polarization.
Nothing to do with polarization. I fundamentally believe that this whole premise, this boxing, that if a Ram temple is being built, it is polarizing for India, in itself is fundamentally faulty. But yes, Neeti Jan, I have 30 seconds left. Please continue.
I take strong objection in bringing down the matter of Ram Mandir to simply elections and benefits. I don't think it is about the benefit. It has been years people have sacrificed their life. It is a matter of our faith. It is a matter of our belief. And I think it needs to remain in that sense. The Congress might feel this is about the elections because it was them who went out and say कि Ram Mandir पर सुनवाई मत करिए क्योंकि elections आने वाले हैं. So they have always thought of Ram Mandir as an election issue, no matter who it is going to benefit and who it is going to harm. So please don't tell me you don't think about the faith and the religion before you go into elections, because the reason you never supported it has a reason and everybody knows about that.
No,
let's not get into
I'm
the matter
once
of
again
religion.
repeating. Neeti, my point is, if a party, forget that this is the BJP in this case and this is the Ram temple issue. Let's say for 20 to 30 years, you've had something in your manifesto, you've run movements on it, fundamentally that is now becoming a reality. Of course that party will say. Of course that party will get some benefit out of it.
Shivani, the point is that the benefit or whatever you are saying may happen, but this was never a matter of elections for us. This was a matter of faith for us, and it remains that way.
Okay,
Whatever
I'll leave it at
benefit
that.
the opposition might think we will get or not
I'll leave
get,
it at
but
that. I'm
Ram
not going to be
Mandir
naive enough
was
to
about-
say that the construction
It's a
of a
very
Ram
proud
temple or
moment
inauguration
for
of
this
Ram
man.
temple was never going to mean something as far as Indian politics is concerned. Of course it means something, and if it's coming ahead of a certain election, so be it. But that doesn't mean you can take away from what it means to the public who has wanted this Ram temple for a very long time. It's not just about elections, but of course in politics, you will make this about elections. You can't begrudge that because that's how politics is run. Any party would have done it. I've run out of time. I do thank all of our guests for joining us for our first debate. Time for a very short break. On the other side, we will get you more updates connected to the upcoming state elections, particularly the one in Rajasthan. Trouble is mounting for Ashok Gehlot, the Congress incumbent chief minister, as ED has raided many spots in Rajasthan. Is it a case of corruption or misuse of agencies as the opposition once again alleges? We'll get you that in just a bit.